Shin Megami Tensei II was released in Japan in 1994 and soon became a hit for its interesting gameplay and themes. Before long, it also became famous for something else. An urban legend was about to be born. According to the legend, there was an extremely small chance that, upon starting the game, a black screen would appear with the words Sugu Kese in red letters covering the screen, accompanied by a loud buzzer. Sugu Kese means delete immediately, and players were both fascinated by the creepiness of it and also the extremely low chance of getting such a screen to appear. But did it even really exist? And how was one supposed to get it in the first place? Despite coming out in 1994, it's believed that the legend didn't become popular until it was shared on Nichan in 2003 in a thread about scary retro game bugs, although the story itself had already been posted a year earlier, in 2002. The internet had grown much more common by then, and sharing rumours became a whole lot easier as well. A year later, in another thread about retro game bugs, someone replied claiming to be a developer on the game. Being 10 years after the game's release, they figured it was time to reveal what actually went on. They claimed that hiding Easter eggs such as this was all the rage at the time, and he personally had included the Sugu Kese screen. Originally, it was programmed with a 1 in 256 chance, but that made it appear far too frequently. So, it was up to 1 in 65,536. But the Easter egg was quickly found and thus erased from further game printings. Because of this so-called developer, the rumour expanded and changed to include the fact that the screen existed only in the first printing of the game, and there was a 1 in 65,536 chance of getting it to appear. This meant you'd have to reset your original print game over 65,000 times just to hopefully reach the odds of the screen appearing. And, being RNG, the screen wasn't even guaranteed to appear. It could happen the first time, or it could happen on the millionth time. Getting the screen to appear was extremely difficult, however, and nobody was ever able to come forward with proof of it. Over time, the rumours got even more confused, with people claiming that this screen actually only existed in the first print of the original game, and not the second. Either way, nobody was ever able to get it in either the first or second game. Even with such high odds, you would think that with so many people trying that eventually someone would find it. Yet they never did. So what was going on? A writer for the website Buzz Plus News went straight to one of the game's creators, Suzuki Kazunari, to ask him about the legend. Did it really exist? Or was it all a giant hoax that everyone had fallen for? Suzuki straight out denied that such a screen existed. He had heard the rumours himself, and even spoke to the programmers involved in the game, but they all denied including such a thing. They admitted that creating a random screen to show up at the start of the game was possible, but nobody had gone ahead and tried it. When pressed on whether one of the programmers might have done it without his knowledge, again, Suzuki denied that it could have happened, claiming that the programmers were all serious and hard-working people, and every single one of them, even the sub-programmers, denied ever creating such a screen. He did, however, propose a reason for why the urban legend came to exist in the first place. He believed this could be traced back to a trick an outsourced developer included in the first game. There was a demon called Bug that, when encountered, came with a very low chance of seeing the message, "Kabu-chan has started debugging." Players, of course, found this message, and when it got back to the game's director, he got upset at its inclusion, reportedly going off at the developer for including something so useless when they were already tight on memory as it was. He also reportedly ordered it removed from further printings of the game, meaning it could only be found in the first print run. After that, fans assumed that the same thing could have been done again in the second game, and thus a legend was born. But where did the Sugu ni Kese message come from exactly? It seems a little strange for fans to come up with something like that all by themselves, especially if it didn't even exist in the first place. It's here that the story takes another strange turn, because as it turned out, it once did exist in the game's coding. Suzuki mentioned that during development, if the game was left untouched for a certain period of time, the message "Sugu ni Kese" would appear on screen, and this had been coded into the game. But it was removed before the game went on sale. He believed that one of the staff members working on the game then released that image onto the internet, and the legend was born. And yet, despite all of this, there was one person who apparently successfully found the screen, even sharing footage of it on Nico Nico Video in 2010, rather than just sharing a screenshot. You can watch it for yourself right here. This video soon came into question though, as at first glance it's easy to see how the video could have been faked. After the Atlas title screen, it cuts straight to a static screenshot, the one often seen around the web, and there's a loud noise that plays over it. Nothing else moves. The creator of the video eventually came out and admitted that it was fake, and they had created it after the legend became popular on Nichan. And as Nichan users continued digging into the legend, they discovered that Shin Megami Tensei II never had a first print run to begin with. The game was never revised, so later copies were exactly the same as the original ones. Claiming that there's a bug or Easter egg hidden in the original print run of a game is a fairly common tactic, because that makes it harder for other people to test and thus debunk a legend. This is especially so before ROMs and copies became as abundant and easy to find as they are today. But in the end, there was no Sugu ni Kese screen in the game, but the legend wasn't entirely without some truth to it. It had existed, once, although not as an opening screen, but as a neat little trick if you left the game idle for too long. It was eventually removed before the game's release, and it was likely a staff member who leaked that little tidbit along with a screenshot. Because an Easter egg similar to this had been found in the first game, fans took this story and ran with it, creating a story on Nichan that soon spread far and wide, and was backed up with the screenshot as proof. But in the end, the urban legend was just that. No such screen existed, and although it took decades for the truth to come out, people still talk about it to this day. Some rumors die hard, and this one refuses to go away. But what do you guys think? Have you heard of any urban legends you'd like to see covered here? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.